speakers are everywhere this year. So far, we've seen new entries from Apple, Amazon, Google, and even Sonos. Now Microsoft is finally ready to join the party. The Harman Kardon Invoke is the first speaker to feature Microsoft's Cortana virtual assistant. Since it's coming from a brand known for audio gear, it focuses on sounding better than the competition. And for the most part, it succeeds. The Invoke is miles ahead of Amazon's original Echo and Google's Home when it comes to sound quality. But Cortana still has to mature a bit before it can successfully take on Alexa. The Invoke is a large, circular speaker that bears a striking resemblance to the Echo. It's just as tall as Amazon's, but it's a bit wider at the bottom. There's also a huge difference in build quality. The Echo is entirely made of plastic, while the Invoke features a more premium feeling, metallic case, with only a bit of plastic around its base. Even its control dial feels much better than the Echo. It's smoother and seems like you're controlling a piece of high-end audio gear. Don't forget, this is the sort of thing Harman Kardon has been building for years. There's a touch-sensitive area at the top, as well as a frosted display that shows you when Cortana is listening, and the volume level. That top portion also houses a 7 far-field microphone array, which lets the speaker hear no matter where you are in the room. Overall, it's a pretty streamlined device. There are only 2 buttons in the back, which let you mute and pair the speaker with Bluetooth devices. There's also a diagnostic micro USB port nestled near the power connection. Under the hood, the Invoke features 3 tweeters and 3 woofers that take up most of its case. In comparison, the new Echo has just 1 woofer and tweeter. The Invoke even has more speaker hardware than Sonos' Play 1, which only has a single woofer and tweeter as well. I'll admit, it's tough to compare speakers when you're just looking at what they're made of. What's more important is how they sound, and this speaker sounds great. To set up the Invoke, you'll need Cortana's iPhone or Android app, or alternatively, you can use a Windows 10 PC. The speaker shows up as a device in Cortana's settings, and it takes just a few seconds to connect to it. After that, all you need to do is say, "Hey Cortana," and start issuing commands. You could ask about the current weather, the latest news, or directions somewhere. It'll read off basic navigation instructions, and send a copy to its app. These are all things Cortana could do for years on PCs and smartphones, but having it available in a standalone speaker is quite useful. I started out testing the Invoke by doing just about everything I do with my Amazon Echo. Hey Cortana, play WNYC.
Okay. Tuning in to WNYC FM on TuneIn.
Historical fiction.
It managed to play New York City's NPR station from TuneIn when I asked it to play WNYC. And it had no trouble relaying the weather when I asked. The Invoke's biggest weakness at this point is the limited amount of audio services Cortana works with. So far they include Spotify, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio. There's no Pandora support yet, which is a big blow to something focused on music, but Microsoft says it's in talks to sort that out. The company also intends to work with other services like SoundCloud and Deezer, but it's unclear when those will be available on the Invoke. For Spotify, the speaker managed to find my Discover Weekly playlist, and it also easily played music from specific artists and albums.
I'm on it. Here's songs by Flying Lotus on Spotify.
It's also a Spotify Connect device, meaning you can control what the Invoke is playing from any of the service's apps, either on your computer or mobile. I've mentioned this already, but it's worth repeating. The Invoke sounds fantastic. Music from every genre sounded immersive, with detailed mid-range, crisp highs, and some decent low-end thump. It can easily fill a room, but more than that, it does so in a way that's enjoyable. It sounds more like a decent bookshelf speaker than a mere smart gadget. The Invoke simply blows the original Amazon Echo away. I haven't tested out the new model yet though, which is supposed to sound better. The increased sound quality also makes radio shows and podcasts sound more natural. I've listened to the Echo daily for years, and generally I found it to be good enough for casual listening, but that's it. The difference between Amazon's speaker and Harman Kardon's is readily apparent when you switch between the two back and forth. The Invoke is much richer and nuanced, while the Echo sounds cheap and flat by comparison. Cortana's voice also sounds much more natural than Alexa at this point. When I asked her to tell stories and jokes, it was difficult to notice I was listening to something completely artificial, and not lines read by her voice artist. Hey Cortana, how tall is the Empire State Building?
Empire State Building stands 1,250 feet tall.
Alexa, how tall is the Empire State Building?
Empire State Building's height is 1,250 feet.
Alexa is getting steadily better, but still sounds vaguely robotic. Amazon's voice assistant still wins out when it comes to controlling smart home devices though. Cortana works with Wink, Nest, SmartThings, and Hue, but it doesn't integrate with devices from Sonos or Logitech's Harmony platform like Alexa does. I was also disappointed that Cortana was incredibly unreliable when it connected to my Philips Hue smart lights. At first, it had no problem turning lights on and off, as well as changing scene colors. Several hours later though, it simply stopped working entirely. Resetting my Hue hub and all of my settings didn't help. It's as if Cortana got into a fight with Philips and refused to talk to my lights anymore. I'll chalk this up to growing pains for now, but I hope Microsoft irons out these issues soon. Since Amazon has had a head start in the smart speaker arena, it's managed to get developers aboard faster. Altogether, they've built more than 20,000 Alexa skills. Microsoft only recently opened up Cortana's Skills API in May, and it launched with just 46. That number is growing, but it has a long way to go before it catches up to Alexa. One unique feature the Invoke offers is Skype calling. You can call other Skype users directly, normal phone numbers in your contacts, or local businesses. Hey Cortana, call Dwayne. When I asked it to call a friend, it found the appropriate contact and dialed the number without issue. My friend was able to hear me clearly, but he noted that it sounded like a speakerphone.
Hey man, it's Devendra, how's it going?
While you can make calls to other Alexa users with an Echo, that's not nearly as convenient as ringing a normal phone. Unfortunately, while you can pair your devices with the Invoke over Bluetooth for music playback, you can't use it as a speakerphone when it's connected to your smartphone. And that's also something the Echo can't do either. The Invoke's $199 price puts it at twice the price of the new Echo, and $50 more than the Smart Hub equipped Echo Plus. It's also significantly more than the $129 Google Home. Still, it's cheaper than Apple's $349 HomePod, which is also aiming for high quality sound. Really though, your choice with all of these smart speakers comes down to which ecosystem you want to be a part of. If you want something that works with the most services possible, then Amazon's Echo line makes more sense. Android fanatics might be better off with Google Home and its integration with that company's virtual assistant. Logically, you can assume the Invoke works best for Windows users, and while that's true, it's also a compelling option for anyone who really values music quality. With Cortana available on iOS and Android, you don't need a Windows PC to really take advantage of this speaker. The Invoke is a great piece of hardware hamstrung by Cortana's fledgling ecosystem. It could get better over time, but most consumers would likely be better off with a competing smart speaker that might not sound as good, but can do much more. If Cortana catches up and the Invoke's price goes down, it could end up being a truly compelling smart speaker for music lovers.